And then I was thinking to myself, why the fuck these guys are not following what we specified? And then I figured it out. Welcome to the second video in our lessons about requirements management. I hope that you learned something from me today, and if you haven't watched the first lesson, I encourage you to go ahead and do that as well, as with every lesson I'm gradually building from the grounds up and sharing my insights into requirements management. As always, I'll be sharing my real-life personal stories from 10 years of working as a product manager. You will hear firsthand how I learned these lessons and how you can apply them to your company. Discover what works, what doesn't work when it comes to writing specs and requirements. Before I jump into my series, I'd like to introduce myself for the people who don't know me. I am Marko, the CEO and co-founder of SwipeSpec. We are agentic AI-powered tool designed to make requirements management easier for product managers. What this means is that we are using AI and AI agents to automate repetitive parts of requirements management process while still making sure that human is in the loop. It is easy to pick up and start using, and it offers a variety of features. Feel free to visit our website, join our waiting list if you're interested, and I'll make sure that you get access as soon as possible. You can find the link to the waiting list in the description below. Basically, to recap the first lesson where you learned that having something written in whatever format, wherever you have written it, is much better than having nothing written at all, I will start building the second lesson. Let's start with the practical story. I was already working for some time as a product person, and I was specifying this online dashboard tool that I was in charge of in the previous company. We were a startup back then, so if you watched the first lesson, this was shortly after I learned the first one. I was using PowerPoint out of all the tools at my disposal to write specs and to communicate them to others. After I created a presentation, I would gather relevant people and present the work to them, and then afterwards I would send an email to them with PowerPoint attached. Bear in mind that then I had zero experience. It was almost 10 years ago and I didn't know about what you will learn today. Then naturally some additional discussion occurred in email. So after they saw the presentation, they started giving some feedback and we made some conclusions that were documented in this email in bold, in different color, but it was in the email where the presentation is attached. After this email was sent, in a couple of days, I do my usual rounds and I check how things are going, and I see that some decisions that we documented in the email thread were not being followed. And then I was thinking to myself, why the fuck these guys are not following what we specified? And then I figured it out. Even though everything was shared in this email thread, couple of things happened. First thing that happened was that some engineers and designers didn't read the email. They just opened it, took the attachment and started working, ignoring the very important notes that were in the email body. Second thing that happened is that some people were not even in the email thread. So they asked around for the information, and this information was given to them either in verbal manner or they got shared access to this PowerPoint, but completely missing out the very crucial information that was written in the body of the email. Then I had to go back, I had to sit down with everybody, I had to realign them and fix the confusion. So the second important lesson when it comes to requirements management is this: single source of truth is the second most important thing you have to do after going from nothing written to something written. So what do I mean when I say single source of truth? I mean that whoever is looking for whatever information they're looking for, especially when it comes to requirements management, they have to find that information only in one place and nowhere else. The moment you have information in multiple places, you will not update both of them. You change something, you introduce something, and someone in the chain will be out of sync. Assume that product, project, company that you're working in is a sum of all vectors. If you want to get to the destination, as many vectors as possible have to point directly to that destination. The moment you have some people pointing in the wrong direction from the target destination, you will obviously miss the target. And this is exactly what happens if you do not maintain the single source of truth. So to summarize, from the first lesson where you learned that you have to write things down, in this second lesson you learned that you have to have them written in one place. Try not to share specs and information or clarifications in emails, comment threads, Figmas, Slack, Teams, whatever you're using to communicate in the company. I assure you that you can safely assume that the moment you share something outside of single source of truth, there will be someone somewhere in the company who is out of sync. This concludes today's lesson. So if you like this lesson, like the video, subscribe to our channel. If you would like to use the tool that solves a bunch of these problems, go to our website, SwipeSpec.com, get yourself on the waiting list, and I'll make sure that you get access to the tool as soon as possible. See you in the next one.